Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Blueprint Live Experience. I am so excited to have you here with me this morning. If you're new to me, my name is Patrice Malloy, aka the Affluent CFO. My mission, my desire, my ministry is to empower women to build businesses that are scalable, saleable, and profitable, but also support you in your holistic life. So there's a balance, we create impact, and we also create self-care environments because that is what we need to do. I am so happy to have you here with me. Thank you so much for joining me. I would like to go ahead and get started, right? I want to be mindful of everyone's time. I would love just to do a quick introduction. You're probably thinking, okay, Patrice, that's cool, that's cute. Thank you for inviting me to this event and all of the things, but who are you and what makes you qualified to talk to me about these things? I'm glad you asked. Like I said, my name is Patrice Malloy, and I do have a little bit of experience, if you could say, in the finance field. I've been in accounting and finance for 22 years now. I have worked in a number of different industries in a number of different capacities, and that is why I'm qualified. I have experience in taxation, in corporate banking, investment banking, asset and wealth management, commercial banking, financial transformation, the government agencies, and I also am a business owner and a fractional CFO that supports women in building their businesses as well. That's a little bit about me, and you're probably like, "Thank you for that." I didn't want to, just a little slight flex, not a whole flex, just a slight flex, because I wanted to make sure that everybody understood that I am actually indeed qualified to talk to you about this. The second reason I am qualified to talk to you about this is because I experienced burnout like crazy in my own life in corporate and then also in my own business. And here's why. As women, we spend a lot of our time juggling a whole lot of balls, plates, responsibilities, whatever you want to call them. And a lot of times we forget that we need to rest ourselves well. We need to be able to rejuvenate and replenish ourselves. We need to recalibrate ourselves so that we understand what's happening in our bodies. Because if you are not at your best self, you cannot build a breakthrough business. So that really is why this whole thing started. It came to me and I wanted to share this because I know I cannot be the only woman who is experiencing these challenges. All right. So that is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to introduce you to what it means to have a holistic business. We're going to introduce you to what it means to have impact, but not be burnt out and overwhelmed. Okay. We're going to be talking about how to make sure that we understand what's happening to us inside, any emotional triggers that might be impacting our business or our day-to-day lives or relationships, because that's a huge thing as well. And then we're also going to be talking about what we can do to start to make sure that we are positioning ourselves powerfully to become our best selves and still have that business that we've always desired. Now, let me just tell you something. This is not only for business owners. This is also for my corporate change makers. This is for my ladies who are doing it in the boardroom, right, in the C-suite, and women who are, ready to work their way up, but they really still feel like there's this disconnect between their happiness and what it is that they want to do professionally. So, ladies, if that's you too, welcome in. This is absolutely for you as well. What I'd like to do is just go ahead and get ready to dive in. So, ladies, I'm going to start to share my screen in just a second. I'm a girl that likes a good visual, a good aid. So that is what it is that I'm going to share with you. We're also going to be doing some interactive activities. All right. This was not for play. This was not a play thing. We wanted to actually be able to do something that was going to be pivotal, that was going to be transformational, and that was going to leave you with some actionable, executable steps so that when you actually did leave this experience after our 9 days together, you are able to have a strategic blueprint to take your business or your professional career to the next level. Sound fair? Are we all on one accord with that? Just another housekeeping rule. So, ladies and gents, if you are on StreamYard, if you are on Facebook, or if you are on LinkedIn or one of the social media platforms, please make sure that you gain access or give access to StreamYard to be able to post comments, because I want to be able to see where you're coming from. I want to be able to see your questions. I want to be able to interact with you and engage with you, because this is very much an interactive experience, like I said. All right, so please make sure that you do that. Make sure that you are playing with me, you are giving me feedback, you are engaging, because this is what I need in order to give you my best. All right. This morning I prayed. I said, Lord, please give me the will and the words and the desire and everything I need to make sure that I'm able to impact the women who are under the sound of my voice today. I want to be able to make sure that, again, you are able to take something today and implement it right away and say, I can see a change and a shift in my business and also in my personal life. Alrighty. So why don't I go ahead and get started on this sharing situation, ladies and gents, because I want for you to be able to see what it is that I'm talking about. Okay. So just give me 1 sec and I'm going to pull it up for you. While we're waiting, why don't you do me a favor and drop in the chat where you're coming from? I'd love to see where you're tuning in from, what it is that you're expecting or hoping to get out of this presentation or experience, I should say, because again, it's not a presentation, it's an experience. It is something that you're going to actually feel. Okay. And then I want to be able to see what it is that you're dealing with. What are you challenged with right now that made you decide to even register for this event? I would love to learn that. So please share that with me as well. And then we'll go ahead and get this started. Let me tell y'all something, just a random side note. When you're trying to be great and you try to show up, you try to empower the people, and then tech is going to tech. Tech is teching, y'all. Tech is checking. So please pray for me. Tech stop playing with my emotions and I'm able to get this presentation out to you because I want to give you the good stuff. I want to give you this experience. All right. So yes, just a couple more minutes, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm pulling this up. And again, I appreciate you and I'm looking forward to just being able to get through this and show you what it is that I'm talking about. So again, while we're warming this up, I want you to understand that this is something very important. As women, we need to do a holistic health check. That's the first thing we're actually going to do today is focus on our holistic wealth, because again, that's something that we put on the back burner for some strange reason. We forget that we need to make sure that we're tapping in, we're understanding what our body is telling us, because many times, because of all the stress and the overwhelm and the things that we're dealing with, our body is telling us it's time to take a rest. Our body is telling us that we need to stop pushing, but we are ignoring it. And that is definitely something that we need to stop doing, because that's the worst possible thing that we could do. It's really the worst possible thing. Okay. It is not a good idea. And I can tell you, I've had that experience too. It has shut me down and I do not want this to happen for you. So let me go ahead and share my screen and make sure that you are able to see what it is that I am talking about. All right. All right, so please do me a favor and let me know when you can see it. Give me a thumbs up. Give me something in the chat that says I can see what's going on. You should be able to see the blueprint experience, a beautiful picture with purple and gold and blue and a young lady on the front that's looking like she wants to look. She's ready to come. She's ready to give you her all. Please let me know if you can see it. If you cannot, please also let me know, because I want to make sure that everyone is able to get access to this information. Oh, thank you, Toki. I appreciate you. Y'all, Toki Simmons, y'all need to come and check Toki Simmons out. She is incredible, okay? All right, Shireen says no, so you can't see the screen. All right, thank you for this, y'all. See, this is why I need the interaction. I appreciate y'all. All right, let's try this again. Use it 2 monitors. Can you share this? Okay, so the screen that I'm going to share. So y'all still can't see it? No. All right, let's try this again. All right, y'all, that's not going to stop us. You want to know why? Because y'all gonna get the share, okay? Let me just tell you. Let me make sure I upload this in a different way. I will not be defeated today. Do you hear me? I will not be defeated. So let me just try this real quick. We gonna download these babies. And then we're going to try this again. So thank y'all for your patience. I appreciate you. This is what happens when you're live sometimes. Tech does not want you to be great. And that's okay. That is okay. All right. Now, let's see if we can try this again. All right. It's coming up, y'all. So please tell me if you're able to see this. Can you see? Please let me know if you can see, y'all. Thank you. All right, let's try this again. So welcome to the Blueprint Live experience. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being interactive with me and letting me know. Let's get started. All right, so again, welcome to the Blueprint experience. This is going to be your companion guide as we go through our time together. Okay, so again, we talked about this being a holistic experience. I was very much serious about that, okay? I want you guys to be able to have awakening, essentially. I want you to be able to understand that you're going to feel different after this time together. So that's what's going to happen. All right, so I just want to welcome you in and say that this experience was specifically designed for women who are industry titans, corporate change makers, and badass CEOs who have the expectations of life claimed firmly on their shoulders. Many times you find yourself trying to figure out how to juggle it all. You're overwhelmed, overworked, and simply over it, point blank, period. I started to tell you a little bit about my story earlier, so I'm not going to belabor this, but this is just a little bit of information and background about why I decided to do this wealth care presentation. So let's just go ahead and get started, y'all. All right, what is wealth care? Wealth care is a journey. It is literally a transformative, holistic approach to harmonizing your emotional, spiritual, physical, and financial well-being. Again, I am Patrice Malloy. I am the Fluent App CFO, and I'm going to be your wealth care concierge during our time together. This workbook is designed to help you strategically apply the wealth care framework to your life and your business. And it's going to lead you to breakthrough results without burnout. So over the next 9 days, we're going to dive into each of the pillars that we talked about, that's spiritual, emotional, financial, and physical well-being. And we're also going to create some financial resources, tools, activities, etc., that's going to take your business to the next level. Alrighty, so emotional well-being. So we talked about what it means. Emotional wellness is more than just saying I'm fine when people ask you how you're doing in the morning, right? It is your ability to navigate your feelings and emotions in a way that allows you to thrive, not just survive. And in order for us to do this, we need to actually understand our emotional needs. I can tell you from experience and just, I'm just telling on myself, I am the type of girl that's like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. I'll take care of it. I don't need help. And that has done me a disservice in my life. And I know I'm not the only lady here who was dealing with that. I know that this cannot just be me, right? Many times we feel like it's just going to be better if we take care of it on our own. And the reality is it's not. We need a village to make sure that we are doing our best. I know you ladies know this too, especially for parents out there. You're juggling multiple jobs or businesses or, even parents, right? Because a lot of us are at an age at this point in time where we're starting to have aging parents. So there is a lot going on in a day-to-day basis. And a lot of times we're shoving things down and we're not actually being truthful about how we feel. And for some reason, we feel guilty about saying no to people and things that we know are not in our best interest. So that is why we were talking about emotional wellness as we open up this series together, okay? That is what we need to focus on. And so why does this matter? Emotional wellness is the foundation of your personal and professional life. When your emotional cup is full, you are better equipped to handle stress, make clear decisions, and lead with empathy and strength. Y'all, have you tried to lead with empathy and strength and understanding when you are irritated and people are on your last nerve? Like, have you noticed that it's a little bit more challenging to do that and to show up the way you need to show up when you are not able to recalibrate yourself or retune yourself or refill your cup because you're just depleted? So that is why we're diving into this. So I have a couple of daily exercises here for you. So we've got our self-assessment. So we're going to start by assessing your current emotional state. On a scale from 1 to 10, how full is your emotional cup? All right. And I want you to identify the top 3 emotions you've been feeling lately. What I'm going to do is share this resource with you so that you can actually go ahead and fill this out. I need you to fill this out. It's very, very, very important, okay? Because this is going to be our starting point. It's going to allow us to understand where we are and then what we need to put into place to get us to where we want to be. a better relationship with our spouse or our children, a better work-life balance because we're not working 50, 70, 11 hours in our business because we feel like we have to go and make money or the world's going to fall apart, excuse me. Better with our friendships because we have the time to actually be present instead of worrying about all the things that we have on our to-do list, right? So that's why we're going to focus on this first. And I'm going to open this up. Oops, sorry. All right, y'all. Here we go again. We're going to open up this holistic spreadsheet. I'm going to drop this in the chat to make sure that everybody can see this and get access to it. And please let me know if you're unable to do that. All right. All right. Let's see. Uh-oh. Let's see. All right. Please let me know if you can access it. We should already be able to make a copy. So please let me know if you can access it, or if you're having challenges, please also let me know that as well. We want to make sure that everybody can get access to this and we can open it up and get started. Okay. So again, please let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Give me something in the chat to let me know because I want you all to be able to understand. Okay, perfect. Ladies, let's open this up and let's get started. Okay, this is very serious. I really want you to understand how important this is for us to be able to go through it. Okay, let's see. Toki, you don't see it in the comments. Let me see if I can drop it in the actual LinkedIn and make sure that you can get it. A couple ladies are saying that they can access it now. So let me just make sure. And here's the thing too, ladies. At the end of each day, I'm going to send an email with a replay and I'm going to have the resources in there as well. So if you were unable to access it right now, you will be able to do it. But in the interim, let's go ahead and take out a piece of paper. All right. We are all about doing things that, do what we can with the resources that we have, right? All right. So let me again just make sure. I am going to try and drop this in on LinkedIn just to make sure that everyone can access it as well. Okay. I see some comments. Here we go, ladies. Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much. Y'all know how this is. Y'all know this is the whole process and production to get through. Y'all know how this is. Okay. All right. I have dropped it in the LinkedIn as well. So please let me know if you're still having trouble accessing it or if you can see it. Are we good? Okay. Excellent. All right, ladies, I want you to open this up. Now, StreamYard is not letting me, show other things for some odd reason. So I'm going to see if I can open this up, y'all, without kicking you guys off. But I do just want to make sure that you are able to see it. But if you have it open, please go ahead and open it with me and we'll walk through this together. While we're walking through this and I'm, giving you time, I'm going to try to pull this up so you can actually see it with me as well. Okay. So again, this is our holistic health check, ladies and gents. We are about to dive into the core of what makes you the powerhouse that you are. Okay. We have to understand our starting point, like I mentioned, in order to craft our journey or our blueprint to get us to where we want to be. So we're going to start with our financial well-being. How do your finances make you feel? And I know this is something too that's very much taboo to talk about money, especially as women and women of color. We have a difficulty and it seems very much taboo to share that information in public. And it can be scary and it can be very vulnerable and it can be all the things, but I would love for you to really just be very honest and truthful and raw when you do this exercise. All right. So again, how do your finances make you feel? Secure, stressed, or somewhere in between? And when I'm talking about your finances, we're talking about our monthly money flow. Do you know where every dollar is going? I would like for you to list your top 3 expenses and consider how they align with your values. And then I want you to think about, are these expenses investments in your future, or are they drains on your potential? Like real talk, right? Is this something that's going to get you to where you want to be in your life, your personal life, or your business life? Or is it draining you and keeping you from reaching those goals? Okay. So I want you to answer that. And if anybody is comfortable with, responding to that, please let me know. And I'm happy to talk about that a little bit further in our chats. Our second question, this is our financial freedom score. On a scale of 1 to 10, how financially free do you feel? 1 is being trapped, and then 10 is being completely liberated. And as we're thinking about this, what is one thing you could do this month to move that number up by at least 1 point? We're talking about your financial freedom point. Okay. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of time to answer that. And then after you've gotten a little bit of time for that, we're going to move on to our next question, because I want you to be serious about this. I want you to take some time to really think about this. And again, after this, and you have time, I really would love for you to kind of go back over this again and just make sure that those numbers feel good for you. And if you need to change, that's okay. We just change, because that's how life works sometimes. It's okay to change. All right. Okay. And then our third question is about our debt dialogue. Are you carrying debt that feels like a weight on your shoulders? And if you are, I would like for you to identify one strategy to start reducing that burden. And when I'm talking about strategies, I'm thinking about things like refinancing, starting with a debt snowball. If you're familiar with Dave Ramsey, creating a debt pay down plan, being very much strategic about how you can get that off of your back. Because when you are focusing on the lack of, right, because you have to pay something, you are unable to bring abundance into your life. You can't focus on 2 things at the same time, right? You have to either be focusing on the abundance, knowing that all the resources and everything that you need are available to you, or you're focusing on what you don't have, and then you'll continue not to have, because that's just what it happens. What you focus on comes to you. Okay. So that is the debt dialogue. So please let me know how you're all doing. If I need a little bit more time for you guys to answer the questions, please let me know, and I'll slow down just a little bit. But if you're comfortable and we can keep moving, what I'd love to do is go to the next part. And as we stated, was that we are really going to focus on our emotional well-being. Okay. Okay. So let me know. I'm going to move forward. And if there's anything that's not feeling good, if you guys need some extra support time, etc., please let me know. And by the way, if you're on one of the social platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, if you're on YouTube or whatever, and you'd like to get this information, just do me a favor, send me a DM or drop your email address in the chat, and I will make sure that you get this information. That's my disclaimer. Okay, back to this. Okay, emotional well-being, which is what we talked about. How are you really feeling deep down? We need to do a check-in. What are your stress levels? Here's the first question. What's your stress level on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being as cool as a cucumber, or 10 being overwhelmed? Shireen, thank you for that. So for those who are not able to see it, I just went ahead and pinned it into the actual screen so that you can actually locate that resource, because this is important if you are unable to see it. Okay, so thank you for that. Alrighty. What are the top 3 sources of your stress? And how can you start to reduce or manage them? a lot of times we understand that we're irritated. We feel like something is kind of irking our spirit. And it's probably like a myriad of things, right? It's something that happened 2 weeks ago that got in our nerves that hasn't been resolved yet, right? It's something that happened this morning that shouldn't have happened. And it is in our spirit and it is impacting the way that we do business. It's impacting the way that we show up. It's impacting the way that we interact with other people. So we really need to figure out what it is that's stressing us out. And then again, we need to identify how to reduce that stress or how do we manage it? Because the reality is there's always going to be something stressful in this life. The way you approach that stress is going to help you dramatically. Okay. If we have an attitude of, it is what it is the expectation that something's going to happen and that's okay. This is how I deal with it. This is my problem. Here's a solution. That's a different way of approach as opposed to something is always happening. It's never going right for me. So those types of words and things that you put out into the atmosphere have a way of impacting you as well. So really focusing on that positive approach. The next thing we're going to talk about is our emotional resilience. Now, let me just tell you, I kind of have like this love-hate relationship with the word resilience because I feel like when they're talking about women or when it applies to women, especially women of color, we have to be resilient. We have to be the strong one. We have to rise from the ashes and the flames like a phoenix, honey. That's what we always have to do. But the reality is sometimes we get tired of being the strong one. We get tired of being resilient. We get tired of being punched in the face every day as entrepreneurs and mothers and spouses and caretakers, right? So it's like, don't come talking to me about no resilience. We don't want that. But in this instance and in this case, when life throws curveballs, how quickly do you bounce back? So what I'd love for you to do is just reflect on a recent challenge that you have and then really think about what helps you overcome that challenge. Okay. And then the second thing is, what could you do differently next time to avoid maybe even being in that situation or maybe to be able to change the outcome or your reaction to that challenge? All right. And for me, I can tell y'all, I've grown, y'all. And you can ask my mom, I've grown. It used to be back in the day that when life threw me a curveball, I just wanted to throw furniture, right? Maybe it was a Scorpio in me. I don't know. But, as I got older, as I matured, as I got into the corporate world and realized that you can't be showing up like a crazy person, or I'll say, well, politely escort you out and off of the premises. I had to really be mindful about the way that I reacted to things that might have irritated or frustrated me. Um, because not everybody communicates the same way, right? Not everybody understands or has the social cues that you would think that they would have in a professional environment. And I also had to be mindful of how I was approaching things. Am I really showing up as my best self? Could I have done something differently? So it's all of those things. And then y'all know that when you have kids, you can't be acting crazy out here because they're watching you. So there's that. So I definitely had to change the way. So my approach, and I have to thank my coach for this. She's so incredible. She gave me the best compliment last week. And she just mentioned that whenever we chat or whenever she sees me, I show up as someone who's solid. Like, y'all, thank God I don't look like how I feel or what I've been through. And I know you guys can probably relate because, whew, child, I'm like, okay, take a breath, take a beat, and let's get back to it. So I can attest to the fact that I have kind of been all over the place. I've had a roller coaster of emotional challenges and growth. So I just want you to think about what was it that you experienced most recently? How did you react to it and what you think you maybe could have done differently? All right. I want to make sure I'm checking the chat to see if I have any questions or if I've missed anything, ladies and gents. Again, please do let me know if I'm missing you. I do not want to skip over you if you have something to say or ask, etc. Okie dokie. And by the way, y'all, I'm going to have this on lock tomorrow. Okay. We're going to be sharing all the resources in real time. StreamYard can't beat me. Okay. Thank you, Serene. Okay. Now we're going to move into our joy factor. And this is something that I've been so prayerful about. Let me see. Don't come for me. I'm about to show this to you. This is my Bible, y'all. She is a little bit beat, but that means that I've been using her. One of the things that I've been very much intentional about is having my time with God, having my meditation, having my time to just pray and be thankful and grateful for everything. The fact that I'm able to experience, the fact that I'm healthy, my children are fine, my family is safe. So that's one of the things that I do. And I've really been asking God to help me increase my capacity for joy, because we're not always going to be happy. That's just the reality. But joy, contentment, fullness, those types of things are things that we can kind of hold on to. So, joy factor. Here's your first question. How often do you feel pure joy in your day-to-day life? And this is not a trick question. If the answer is not what you want it to be, right, then maybe we can start thinking about ways to incorporate more joyful things. One of the things I've started doing is incorporating a dance break into my day. As you're sitting at your computer all day, you're on client calls, you're talking to people, you're sending emails, you're preparing proposals, you're doing all the things. You are very sedentary. And so I have a standing desk. I have an alarm that lets me know that I need to have a dance party for 5 minutes and then kind of get back to it. So these are some of the things I've been trying to do to incorporate joy into my daily, operations. So what is it that you're doing? So I'd love for you to identify 3 activities that bring you joy and then plan to incorporate them into your week. Let me tell y'all something. You know what also brings me joy? Like a good old cup of coffee, honey. If I can get a good cup of coffee and mind my business for a bit and not be bothered, that brings me joy. Y'all, my Stanley brings me joy. It gives me the coldest water. Okay? So that's 2 things. My family brings me joy. Having conversations with my parents brings me joy. Talking to my daughter, because she's crazy, y'all. Our youngest is in middle school and she is just out of control. So these are things that I've started to incorporate into my daily activities that bring me joy. And I love that y'all are working through this with me. I'm so interested in seeing what it is that you come up with. And we have just a couple more sections, but I really, again, want you to start working through these things and thinking about these things, not just today, but consistently. Because as you continue to practice it, as it becomes habit, you will see that change and transformation in yourself, physically, in all the ways. Okay? Alrighty, so if we need to, thank you, Toby. Yes, girl, a good dance party. Okay, y'all, I had the best gospel track today that I was listening to this morning. And then yesterday I was listening to something else. So listen, don't judge me. I am an eclectic music kind of gal. Anyway, I digress. Okay. Let's move on to the physical well-being, because again, this is a holistic approach that we want to take. Your body is your temple. I know this is not the first time you've heard that. My question to you is, how well are you treating it? And no, that's not a trick question either. How well are you treating your temple? We want to look at our energy levels. I can tell you, ladies, certain times in the month are very draining of our energy. Dealing with challenges can be very draining to your energy. When you're not having the results that you want to have in your business or your job or whatever else, or your relationships, that can be very much draining to your energy and your soul, right? So you really just have to be mindful. So my question to you today is, how energized do you feel throughout the day? 1 is exhausted, and then 10 is I am full of vitality. And if y'all say 10, I want to talk to you after this because I want to know how I can get the vitality of it all. Okay? Let me know what you're doing. Let me know what you're doing. I want the vitality. And so one of the things we want to think about as we're doing this check, right, is what's draining you of your energy the most? Is it poor sleep? Lack of exercise? Are you stressed? Overwhelmed? What is it? Are you doing something that you don't have a passion for? Are you putting your energy into something that's not part of your journey? Right? What is it? And we also have to think about this. So energy is not infinite. It's not infinite, just like time, our most valuable resource, right? We never get any additional time back. So you want to be very much intentional and strategic about how you invest it and who you invested in. Y'all know there are some people that we cannot take on our journey because they do not understand the assignment, right? If it is a person that is sucking your energy, that should say to you, I need to distance myself and do it in love, y'all. Or not. I mean, I don't know the backstory, but you know, you need to be your best self. You need to be able to show up and do what you do so that you can create the impact that you were designed and created to create. Okay. So really think about that. The next thing is your movement routine. I'm pretty sure you've heard this too all over the internet. You should get up and move for 30 minutes a day, whether that be walking, dancing, cardio, high intensity interval training. If you're running, if you're doing a boxing, whatever it is, they recommend that you move for at least 30 days, 30 minutes a day. And that's one of the things that I personally do. I get up every morning, I should say every weekday, and I work out. I'm either lifting weights, I'm either running, I'm walking, I'm doing something, I'm taking a dance class, right? Because I feel like when I'm able to do that, I'm able to raise those levels of, what is it, y'all? Whatever levels, y'all, cortisol? Anyway, whatever gets you pumped up and happy and excited, you raise those levels and it helps you kind of reset your mind and prepare for the day. That is what I personally do. So the question is, how consistent are you with physical activity? And it doesn't necessarily have to be every single day, but just be intentional about doing something that's going to make you feel good and give you that energy. So I'd love for you to just list one way that you can move your body more this week and make it something that you enjoy doing. Like we talked about that dance party, right? Walking. Maybe you like running up the steps. I don't know, but something that's going to make you feel better. Okay. And I just want to share this with you. Movement is medicine. Find what heals you. Okay. As you're needling over that, we're going to move into our nutrition check. Again, I want to be mindful of your time. I appreciate you for being here. But nutrition, are you fueling your body with what it needs to thrive? And this is what's ever, is best for you. Obviously, we have a lot of dietary restrictions and, things that we have to be mindful of. But for you, are you fueling your body with what you need to feel your best? And I'd love for you to identify one nutritional change that can make a big difference in how you feel. Y'all, y'all can't see me, but since February, I've lost like 20 pounds. Okay. And it was a whole process, right? The thing is, I needed to do that because I was feeling sluggish. I was not showing up as my best self. I didn't feel well. I couldn't sleep well. Like obviously your clothes didn't fit the way you want to fit, which is kind of a bummer, but that wasn't the most important thing. It was just the fact that I wasn't feeling my best self. So I had to do some things. I had to change the way I was eating, y'all. I love some Ben and Jerry's half-baked ice cream, right? And I had to switch that. And I also love crisps. I love cosmic apples. So I just had to start doing some of that, right? So I just had to shift some of those things, and peanut butter, right? But there are just some things that I just needed to change because as we're getting older and as, all the things that are happening in this world that seem to tear you up, you just got to be more mindful because I want to be here for many, many, many more years for my children and my children's children and their children, right? And I want to be able to enjoy my older years and be mobile. The craziest thing to me is that a lot of us lose the ability to have mobility as we age. When you're not working those muscles, when you're not moving your body, they leave you. They leave you. They're like, y'all need us anyway. What do we need to be here for? So you want to make sure that you're doing those types of things. All right. You are what you eat. So make it count, y'all. Listen, make it worth it. Okay. If it's not the healthiest, make it worth it. And then the next day, eat something healthy. Okay. Do what you got to do. Whew, okay. So now we're going to move into our spiritual well-being. And when I say spiritual, for me, it's with God. For you, it could be whatever else you need to, to connect with to make sure that you have a spiritual grounding. Okay. So this is not a one size fits all. It's whatever you do for you. So we want to talk about connecting with something greater. What feeds your soul? We need to have a sense of purpose as people, as women, right? So do you feel like your life has purpose and meaning? So what I'd love for you to do is just reflect on what drives you every day and then think about how aligned is your work with your purposes. Are you currently in a job that you don't like? Are you currently in a relationship that's not of God, right? It's not giving you what you need to do. It's not supporting you in a way that you need to be supported. Are you having challenges with friends? Is your business really what you thought it was going to be? Is it what you were put on this earth to do? Does it align with your gifts? So these are questions you want to start to think about when you're asking about purpose. And purpose fuels the passion. So again, if you don't have a purpose behind something, it's hard to show up every single day excited. It's hard, especially when you get knocked down left and right. So really think about that. And there's nothing wrong with the shift, honey. And there's nothing wrong with the pivot, right? If you have to completely pivot, that's okay. If there are a few things that you need to shift or tweak in your business, even better because you've got the foundation. Now we just need to do a few little things to take it to that next level. So this is what I really want you to start thinking about. And then we talk about mindfulness practices. Some people think it's woo woo. At some point I was like, I don't know about that. But then I had to really get serious about one, checking into it, understanding what it meant and what it meant for me, and then applying it for me personally. So when we're talking about mindfulness practices, how often do you take time to reflect, meditate, or connect spiritually? When I opened this up, I talked about, my Bible that y'all saw, she was beaten, battered, honey, and she was tattered. But that's okay because the word is still the word and I'm still able to reference it, right? I'm able to choose Bible verses that align with what it is that I'm going through or to help me understand something that I may be going through, right? So that is what I leverage as far as my spirituality is concerned. I attend church, I have conversations with my parents, other women of God and of faith, right? So that's kind of how I connect spiritually. All righty. So I want you to commit to a daily practice that centers and grounds you, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Have you heard about the exercise of grounding when you go outside and put your feet in the grass to just kind of feel it? And that's kind of a way of grounding yourself. So something like that. If you need to grind your feet into the carpet, do that, right? So it's whatever is going to work for you. It's going to help you just kind of center yourself for the day or for whatever period, right? If you're going through a stressful moment. So I'd love for you to start thinking about something like that. And finally, we are going to talk about our gratitude attitude. Sometimes it's hard to have gratitude when things are not going the way that we wanted them to go. When that proposal fell through, when that big client that we had decided to leave, when we got past that for that promotion, when that relationship that we were so invested in failed, when our children don't show up the way that we want them to show up. I mean, all of these things, right, have an impact on us spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, right? So it's thinking about all of those things. So how often do you practice gratitude? So I'd love for you to write down 3 things that you're grateful for right now. And then keep a daily gratitude journal. It is so much easier and more freeing, and you feel so much lighter when you can just talk about the things that you're grateful for. Because as you start to think about those things, it expands, right? What I'm grateful for my parents my husband, my children. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for the ability to be able to show up and speak to you ladies this morning. I'm grateful for a ton of other things too, but those are my top three right now. So, what are your top three? And then understand that gratitude shifts your perspective. Like I said, what you focus on, you attract. So I know it sounds simple, right? It's just that we need to really apply this to our lives on a consistent basis so that it sticks, so that it's second nature to us. Okay. So once you finish that, we're going to go ahead and give ourselves a grade so we can understand where we are, what our starting point is. Okay. So as you're finishing up, what I'd love for you to do is just calculate those scores that you gave to yourself in each section so that you have an idea of where you fall today. And then we'll talk about what needs to happen for you to get to where you want to be as we move forward. Alrighty. So when we first talked about our emotional wealth, and please let me know if I need to give you a couple more minutes to get those scores. Let me just check the chat and make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. So I'm going to move on. When we talk about that emotional wealth, if you had a score of 1 to 3, essentially it said that you're energy bankrupt. So the energy drains are real and it's time to take action. We want to get you out of this hole one step at a time. If you fell in 4 to 6 range, you are energy strapped. You're hanging in there, but just barely. You've got some positive practices in place, but there's room for growth. And I'll put this in the chat as well. 7 to 8, energy balance. You're doing well, balancing the ups and downs. What we need to do now is keep refining your practices to maintain this flow. And then finally, if you received a 9 to 10 score, you are having energy wealth. You are wealthy. You're rich in emotional wealth. So what we love for you to do is keep up that great work and continue to protect your energy like the precious resource that it is. So like I said, I'm going to put this in the chat so you can kind of see where you fall and just really think about this. This is important. Okay. Alrighty. Now, our action plan, because we talked about actionable steps to execute. Once we've identified those top 3 energy drains, we want to figure out those things that are weighing you down the most of this time, right? Then we will create an action plan. So what is one immediate step that you can take to address each energy drain? And we want to make it actionable and specific, okay? So for instance, if one of the energy drains is the fact that you're not getting sleep, maybe one of the actions could be that I need to log off my computer an hour earlier. I need to shut my TV down an hour earlier in the evening so that I'm able to prepare myself to get ready for sleep, right? So I get my 8 hours. Or maybe I need to start my day a little bit later. So I plan for that. What do I need to shift in my schedule to have a later start time so that I'm showing up fresh and energized? So that's one thing. Again, we want to make it actionable and specific. It needs to be very clear and finite. Otherwise, we're not going to do it. Okay? Ask me how I know. Another thing that's really going to be helpful is to find an accountability partner. Who can you connect with or reach out to that's going to help you stay accountable to these goals that you have created for your action plan? So, who can you lean on to help you stay committed to your plan? And who do you feel comfortable reaching out to and asking for support in this? And maybe they can do the same thing with you, right? Who doesn't need to have a life full of energy? So think about that. Okay. Take a little sippy sip of water real quick. Okay. So again, I'm checking the chat to see if I missed anything. Please let me know if you have any questions, ladies and gents. Again, I appreciate you for showing up with me and doing this work with me. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. Okay, so that's what we need to do as far as our action plan. So again, you will receive this resource afterwards if you were not able to access it, but I want you to keep this and I want you to look at this consistently because the goal is to be able to see that transformation in your energy levels, in your emotional well-being, in your physical, spiritual, and financial well-being as well. And again, this is our starting point. We want to be able to see the journey that we're going to take so that we can get to our next level and build that breakthrough business or get that incredible career that you're looking to achieve. Okay. All righty, ladies, that was our exercise for today. Again, I told you I wanted to be mindful of time. I wanted to do something that was actionable and interactive. So that is that. The next thing I'm going to do is just draw you back to this, to our workbook here. There are some other activities that you can also use to take us to the next level. All right, we talked about some of those mindfulness activities. So practice. Maybe you can dedicate 10 minutes today to mindfulness or meditation. Focus on your deep breathing, understanding and acknowledging your emotions without judgment. And there are some apps that you can use too, like Headspace or Calm, if you need guidance to kind of walk you through that process as you get comfortable and familiar with this process. Another thing I really would love for you to do, because I think as women, we forget to do this too, is just set some boundaries. I would love for you to write down a boundary that you will set this week to protect your emotional well-being. This could be saying no to an additional task, request, for someone asking you for money, okay? No is a complete sentence. N-O period. Thank you very much, right? So understanding that, set those boundaries. What I would love for you to also think about is doing something in addition to that. So take a break. Log out of your computer a little bit early. Walk outside. Take a little bit of extra time during your lunch hour. Schedule an appointment for a massage or to get your nails done or get your eyebrows done, something, right? Something that's going to pour back into you. And then we also talked about that gratitude journal. So today we wrote down 3 things that we're grateful for. Let's just keep that going because again, what you focus on, you attract, and what you focus on expands. So if I'm talking about what I'm grateful for every day, it's just going to continue to increase for me and for you too. Alrighty, so thank you so much for joining me today. What I would also love to do is just invite you to come and chat with me. On Wednesday evening at 7 Central, I'm going to be calling all of my ladies together to have a Blueprint Live After Dark coaching call. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, you feel like you want to get a little bit of more time with me to just kind of walk you through your exercises or to talk about what's happening in your business or your personal life, and another group of just women who are willing to be vulnerable and open and to be collaborative and to connect and support you, I would love to invite you to that. What I will do now is just go ahead and drop that link into the chat as well. I would love to have you there with me so that we can keep this party going. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. On the lookout. Again, I would love for you all to be there. I'd love to just get a little bit more information and insight into what you've been going through, what you've been experiencing, and understand how I can support you. Alrighty, so that is that. Again, I appreciate you for joining me. It has been a pleasure. I appreciate your patience and your flexibility while I was getting my tech set up. But let me just tell you, this was so much better this time. I think I'm going to have to go ahead and continue with the StreamYard situation. So thank you. I'm going to have one last call, right? Last call for alcohol / questions, comments, anything I can do to support you. I tried my very, very best to speak slowly. I really did. So I'm hoping that you were able to hear me and you were able to capture everything. All right, all right. So with that said, ladies, again, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you. And we're going to end for today. Again, expect to get an email about the replay. We will be able to access this recording, okay, at a later date. So give me about a few hours. And you will also have a link to the resource if you were not able to attend live with me and you still want to do that. You will also have access to the VIP coaching after dark as well. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we have to look forward to. So again, I thank you. I appreciate you. And with that, I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.